What's going on, everybody? Moniz here, and today is a special day because this is the first time in the studio I have a smartphone that's considered a gaming smartphone. I've never unboxed one before. I'm kind of excited. We got the ASUS ROG Phone. This guy right here is supposed to make your games run beautifully. But I have a big question about this device. Are they actually worth it? Do we actually need gaming phones? And if we do, is the time right? That's the big question. Is the time right? Or maybe the smartphone market is getting so mature and so saturated that we're running out of ideas, so we're creating new categories for the phones. Okay, this is interesting. So you open it up from the side. Okay, I just clearly ripped that. Oh, there we go. There we go. Look at that presentation, all that detail. This makes me want a game. This looks like to be an accessory. This attaches to the back. I'll talk about that a little bit later. The phone itself is from ASUS. And of course, we have a box full of all your cables and manuals. We got the plug. This is obviously a quick charger. This will top up the battery much quicker than your typical iPhone charger, which doesn't do much in life. Ooh, I like this. I love when manufacturers take the time to make cables the best they can be. This is a braided cable, which means it's not gonna rip or tangle as easily as your typical plastic one. Please be stickers. Please be stickers. Okay, we got some serial numbers. Actually, I shouldn't put that on. You guys will probably clone my phone and steal all my information. So I'll take that one back off. Now I need a moment of silence to remove the plastic. Not the best plastic, but it'll do. So this phone is really hefty, but I love the way this thing looks. If you've ever seen ASUS's laptops, it basically takes the same characteristics from them. You have the ASUS ROG logo in the back. You have some vents here, which allows the air to pass through the device to allow the cooling to happen. And then of course, you have two cameras on the back to provide you with your pictures when you're taking pictures, because every smartphone needs to have a camera. Fingerprint sensor. Not a fan of the location. It's kind of a bit awkward. It's not centered where your finger kind of rests here naturally. You're gonna have to extend it up in order to get to it. The front of the device, as we can see here, we got dual speakers in the front. It has this nice copper touch to it. It gives the phone some nice look. Okay, that is very interesting. You see, most devices have the USB Type-C port on the bottom of the phone. On this phone, you're actually getting two of them. So you have one right here, which is covered up by a piece of plastic, and then there's one on the bottom. Now that makes a lot of sense, which means there's gonna be a lot of accessories that you can buy with this device attached to it, and if you're able to plug it in the middle of the phone as opposed to the sides, that means your hands are free. That means there's no cable dangling from the left or right side, and you can use the phone to its maximum potential to get your game on. Now, when it comes to design, the back is also made out of glass. It is Gorilla Glass, just like the front, but when you hold it in your hand, it feels a little bit plasticky. The side of it, this is metal. I love the combination of the glass and metal, giving it a nice two-tone finish. It is a big phone. Like in comparison, I have here the OnePlus 6T, which is a 6.4-inch device, and it's smaller than the 6-inch ROG phone, to give you guys some context. So I finally got the phone set up, and the first thing I noticed is this display. It's 1080p, it's AMOLED, it's absolutely beautiful. There's a vivid mode to boost up the colors, which is great for gaming, but the first thing that I noticed is how well this thing scrolls. Do you remember the 120 Hz panel on the Razer phone? So very similar idea. There's a higher refresh rate, so that means when you scroll up and down, it just looks buttery smooth. I cannot wait till every smartphone has a higher refresh rate. Now, the only problem I did notice about this display is the viewing angles. Do you guys remember the Pixel 2 XL when you slightly turned the display, it had a blue shift? Well, the exact same thing is happening here, except with a reddish hue, and it's very extreme. You notice it right away as soon as you turn the display. Besides that, it is running a very themed up version of Android 8.0. You can see there's a lot of gaming icons on here. It has a black alien look, which goes in line with their laptops and desktop PCs. It's not bad. I actually don't mind it. I mean, I wouldn't want to be rocking this skin on a daily basis, but if you're a gamer, you're probably gonna appreciate the way it looks. Now, before we get into gaming, let's just do a quick test for these cameras. So like I said, we have a front-facing camera, which is 8 megapixels. And on the back, you actually have two cameras. You have 12 megapixel sensor, which takes your basic shot. And then if you want, you can use the second lens to get a wide angle, which will get more into the picture. The external speakers are front facing, which is always preferred, especially when you're gaming. I just actually did a little bit of a sound test. The sound is okay. I don't think it's the best for a smartphone. And because this is a gaming phone, this needs to be the best and more importantly, the loudest. In fact, I think the speakers on the iPhone XS actually sound better than this one. When it's cranked up to max volume, there's a tiny bit of distortion. Here, have a listen for yourself. So basically the short is this. This phone definitely gets louder, but doesn't sound nearly as clean as the iPhone XS. In fact, I actually prefer the sound on the iPhone XS specifically for gaming. Now with this phone, you get a gaming center. So if you've ever played with ASUS's laptops, it's the same sort of idea. The gaming center basically allows you to monitor the stats of your hardware. Maybe you want the fans to run at max when you're playing a specific game. Maybe you want the sound to be at a certain level. You can do that by customizing it in the game center. Now the most important thing, the reason why you buy a gaming phone, and that's for that beautiful RGB. Right now I got it set up for aura lighting. As you can see here, it's basically the color profile, which basically goes through different colors and it pulses ever so slightly. I personally don't mind it. I mean, I think if you're someone who's really into gaming and it's your thing, you're gonna kind of like these touches. I gotta admit, this is pretty neat. I got the fan attached, and even though it covers the RGB logo on the phone itself, they've included one on the fan piece so that you can still get that light. The next thing I noticed is the cool air coming out of it. I think that's pretty neat, especially if you're playing for a long period of time. Usually most phones get hot. If you have a fan on the back, it's gonna keep the phone and your hands kind of cool. Yes! Ha! Headshot, punk. How does that feel? Oh, you got owned. How much time did you have? Oh, another headshot. I'm totally playing bots. No one's this bad. Oh, baby. Okay, so here's the deal. I haven't had one frame drop yet. This is running really smooth. Now, I'm not the best playing on mobile, but I can imagine the amount of accessories. I can imagine the amount of accessories that ASUS can make for this device to improve your gameplay experience on mobile. Could you imagine this hooked up to like a proper controller? You pretty much will have PUBG or Fortnite wherever you go. Now, besides that, what else do we get with this device? We get a 4,000 milliamp battery, which is pretty much gonna get you through the entire day. There is no wireless charging, but you do have USB Type-C with quick charging, so you can top it up pretty quickly. So anyways, that pretty much wraps up this little first impressions of the ASUS ROG phone. I think it's a great idea, and it's a cool idea. But here's the thing. If you're buying this phone, you're giving up a lot of great things. You're giving up a great camera, you're giving up wireless charging, you're giving up the best display, you're giving up a smaller form factor, you're giving all this stuff up for better sound, for a display that has a higher refresh rate, and a system that's gonna keep your phone cooler for longer, giving you higher frame rates to play games. I wanna hear what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think gaming phones are worth it? Do you think they're a gimmick? Or do you think we're on to something special? If you have any questions, hit me up on Discord. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you liked the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.